Could be the deciding effort if the Sharks can win a second game here in Toronto. And we're underway. Dave Ellett for the Maple Leafs, playing it up through center. John Cullen making his first appearance in the series for Toronto. Couldn't keep it. Now the Leafs throw the body, but the Sharks get it out of the zone as it's cleared back into the Toronto zone. A couple of lineup changes for Toronto, and we'll get to them when we can. Here's Mike Gartner circling at center ice. The Sharks pursuing, and then Bob Airey gets a piece of him as Gartner is forced to dump the puck in. Jason Moore behind the net as Dave Andrechuk came crashing through. Now Moore taking his time. Leafs have three people out forechecking, and the Sharks turn it over. Ellett now up to the line. Gartner hit by Moore. Cullen plays the puck behind Gill, and they have to chase it back. Now Makarov on, and he'll forecheck as well as Gill comes speeding out across the blue line to center. Gill going around Larionov. Gill still with it, centering pass, and it just goes wide. Back in front again. Osborne knocks it down. Irving with the save as Toronto gets a great pair of opportunities here in the opening minute and 6 seconds.
Well, it's certainly nothing we didn't expect. The early tie, the crowd gave their hockey team a standing ovation, so these first shifts, very important for the Sharks.
Here's Kevin Constantine's lines tonight. Larionov centering Makarov and Garpenlov as always. It's Ellett between Donald and Duchesne. Baker with Falloon and Whitney. Airey, Goodrow, and Odgers, the extra forwards. The defensive pairings, Norton and Ozolinsh, Peterson, Krupa, Moore, and Cronin. That has been status quo except for when Moore missed Game 4.
Coach Kevin Constantine changing his lines real quick. Larionov line is out there, and you guessed it, Peter Zezel's line for Toronto matched up against the Sharks' big scoring machine.
And that's been the matchup. And Pat Burns with the home ice advantage will have that group on against Larionov all night long. Here's Sandis Ozolinsh now. Larionov turns away from Zezel. Now comes back to the other side. Nice move by Norton. Now Makarov takes it in the skate. He'll peel back. Dumps a pass that Ozolinsh had to wait on. Now it comes back for Garpenlov. He couldn't handle it, and the Leafs will get it back. Osborne turns it over. A chance for Makarov on his backhand. Looking back to the line. Feeds Norton. Norton moves in. He'll peel away. Still holding the puck is Jeff Norton over to Ozolinsh. Ozolinsh to Larionov. He shoots. Blocked by Potvin, the rebound into the corner. Garpenlov gets it back to Larionov. Igor trying to work it for Ozolinsh. He'll send it back along the board. Garpenlov out of the corner. Looking in front. Makarov is there. McCallum steers it away, but not from Larionov. Now Norton. He'll drive it to the corner. Ozolinsh pinches up. In front. Garpenlov looking for it. It's in the skates of Berg. The Leafs have it. Cleared away again. Now Ozolinsh runs in to the referee, McCreary. And the Leafs are able to get the puck as Ozolinsh broke his stick. Zezel just dumps it into the Shark zone, but a good shift there for Larionov and company.
Controlling the play very well. Sandis Ozolinsh got tangled up with the referee.
Irving guilty of a giveaway, but the Leafs couldn't make a chance of it. Sharks clear it down for an icing, and it'll come back down into Arctur's neighborhood. There's Pat Burns, the coach of the Maple Leafs. These are his lines tonight. Gilmore between Gartner and Clark. And some of the new stuff. John Cullen now centering that second line that Gilmore was centering as well. Borshevsky and Andrechuk on the wings. Then it's Zezel with Osborne and Berg. And Eastwood now between Baumgartner and Lacroix as Lacroix comes into the lineup. The defense, McCown and Lefebvre, Ellett and Gill, Rouse and Baranov. That is unchanged. So two changes for Pat Burns. John Cullen comes in place of Rob Pearson, and Eric Lacroix in place of Ken McRae. And those are the two changes for the Leafs as they try and win Game 6 to force a Game 7. Now Wolf Dahlen across the line to center for Duchesne. Picked off by Borshevsky.
What Pat Burns has done, it took a little bit of his muscle out of his lineup, Randy, with Pearson and McRae out of there, and put John Cullen in. More experience and more offensive minded.
Here's a shot by Dahlen from just across the line. Duchesne trying to feed a pass back for Ellett. In front, it's Dahlen with another chance, and it's cleared out by the Leafs. But the Sharks turning that puck over to their advantage in the Toronto zone, and the Leafs are called for the icing. Now off the face-off. Leafs have it. Todd Gill, number 23, playing it around. This is Lacroix, checked by Cronin. That turns the puck over to Erie. In the corner, he's tied up by Gill. Now Eastwood comes in, gets a piece of Erie. Erie trying to free the puck. Gill kicks it up the wing. Cronin steps in. He'll drive it up off the lip of the boards. And let's see, it went over the glass and out of play.
Sean Cronin doing a good job pinching in there. He's got Eric Lacroix, who just came up from St. John's, playing that off wing. He's a left-handed shot, playing that right side. That's a little awkward for him, but Cronin knows he can go in and pinch if he knows one of those forwards are going to come back and bail out. He's a big guy, and when he goes in there and pinches, he makes it awfully tough for the opposing forward. Well, he's had some kind of a playoff, hasn't he?
Boy, hasn't he? Got the first ever Sharks playoff goal. Hit a couple of goalposts in the Detroit series and has been so solid defensively. A guy who really didn't figure that much in the regular season because of injury. Here's Cronin with a shot, and that skipped just wide. Sharks putting on some good pressure here in the early going. Here's Erie trying to center it from behind the net. It's still loose, swept to the boards, but not out. Turnaround shot by Baker. That's knocked down, hits the side of the net. And the Leafs have got to figure out a way to get out of their zone here. They're having some trouble in their own end early, and that's not a good sign for them. Dump in for Andrechuk, cleared out. Elliott brings it back in. That's an offside. Well, the Leafs talked about a number of things, getting physical and not losing it in their own zone. Here's the playoff leaders for the Sharks. Igor Larionov with 16 points. Makarov leads them with 8 goals. 13 of Igor's points have been assists. And 5 players are tied with 4 power play points. For Toronto, Doug Gilmour leads all scorers in the playoffs with 21 points. 5 different players have 4 goals each for Toronto, and Gilmour leads everything else.
And you got to keep that guy off the board, Doug Gilmour. They only had 2 assists in the last game, considering he had 5 the game before. So the Sharks did a good job of containing him and some of those other big boys in that last game back at San Jose.
Ozolinsh up to Makarov, took a look and didn't play the puck. Swept back into the zone. Centered, and a save by Urbe off Zezel. What a chance for Toronto there. Now Larionov dumps it to the corner. Kakalov after it. Lefebvre takes him out. And Berg has it at the side of the net. Ozolinsh gloves it down. Looks to the net. Tapped in. Potvin with a great reaction to stop it off Makarov. Good tip by Sergei Makarov, but Potvin got the leather on it. Now Ozolinsh will go behind center. And it's back to Jeff Norton. We've played 4 minutes and 40 seconds of the hockey game. It's 0-0 in game 6 as Makarov played one behind him to nobody.
To himself,
I guess. I don't know if that was the plan.
Maybe
that's the way
it was to Urbe.
Duchesne with a shot. And Potvin has to make a tough save. Now Clark at center. He can't control it. And the Sharks will chase it again. This will be icing again. 14:57 left to go in the first. It's scoreless here in game 6 at Toronto. Sharks trying to hold it in the zone again. Duchesne does for the moment. Now Gill will skate it out for Toronto. Up to Doug Gilmour. Plays it off the boards. Gilmour dumps it into the corner. Wendell Clark. Score!
Earlier in the series, we talked about how lively these boards are. Gilmour's going to shoot it in, but somebody has to tie up Wendell Clark. See him breaking in there? Look how the puck comes bouncing off those end boards. Got to stand in Wendell Clark's way to play like this. Here's the shot. Look at Clark. The determination by him. The shot. Irby down. A little bit too fast. Leaves enough space between his pads. And Wendell Clark gets his 5th goal of the playoffs.
Wendell Clark
comes at 5:26 here in the first period. And the Leafs have a 1-0 lead.
Maybe we talked about how those boards work. They have their morning skates. You hit those puck along those boards, it's going to come way out. Clark knows that. That's his home building, so he kept going and was able to get it and put it in.
Andrechuk wins the draw. Back to Moranov, but it's dumped in by Erie. And now the Leafs sweep it clear again. Cronin will send it in. Now John Cullen. Dressed for a couple of games of the Chicago series, but didn't play either. So this is really his first playoff look all year. And an offside call I believe against the Sharks.
I think a linesman may be hurt over on the other side.
I think you're right. We don't have the ability to see that from our broadcast location, so we'll have to rely on our monitor here because of some various obstructions from the scoreboard. There's a look, and it is Randy Mitten. Yeah, it is DiPuzzo. Mitten helping him there, and DiPuzzo with some with a towel up on the right eye, it seems. Looks like a couple of stitches there above the right eye for DiPuzzo. He even drops the puck for the face-off. What a stud muffin he is.
Tape an aspirin to it and get him back out there.
So we're back underway. Cronin across the blue line, just got it away from Gartner. Boy, that is flirting with danger there. And then it's kicked out of play. Well, here's a few things to ponder. The Sharks could become only the 4th, 8th place team to reach their conference finals in NHL history, at least since the major expansion. Sharks are 5-0 when scoring first. That's not going to happen tonight, though. At least they won't go to 6-0. They're only 2 for 31 on the power play on the road. That's 6.5%. The Leafs have allowed 1 power play goal in 24 tries at home. So the Sharks are going to have to take whatever advantage they can of power play opportunities tonight. It has been the one thing that has been lopsided in Toronto's favor in this series. Fortunately for the Sharks, it hasn't resulted in Toronto leading this thing, at least not yet. If Toronto does lead this series, they'll have won it. Cleared out by the Sharks to center. Now here's Makarov coming off a super game 2 nights ago in San Jose. Off the boards, and Garpenlov checking McCallum. Leafs trying to quickly hustle it up the ice, but the Sharks have it again. Here's Igor Larionov, who had 3 straight assists at one point in the game 2 nights ago. Dump back to Norton. Up the wing, here's Igor. Lost it to Osborne. His pass just ahead of Berg. Now Osborne checked by Ozolinsh. Gets it to Zezel. Norton takes out Zezel, who went in hard. Zezel still not up. Checked again by Norton. And the puck's underneath Zezel. Fans wanted a penalty against Zezel, but hey, he's playing the puck even if he's not all the way up on his feet.
Well, I think they really wanted the penalty against Jeff Norton on that particular play, as Norton hit Zezel pretty good. I think he got him from the side there, and I think Zezel's claiming maybe that he got hit from behind. Going to see that play happening behind the net. The Sharks having problems getting the puck out of their own zone. Look how the Maple Leafs are switching off on their forechecking. Larionov with the puck. Boom, there's somebody on him, and they can't make a play. And here's the giveaway. Now the Maple Leafs start working it around. You're going to see what the crowd was excited about here. Well, we didn't see it, but Norton ran into Zezel there, and that's what got everybody excited about.
Off the faceoff, Tom Peterson now back defensively for the Sharks. They trail 1-0 here, 12:45 left to go in the first period. Todd Ellett through center ice. That's checked away by Ellett. Gilmore will just dump it across into the neutral zone. Krupa dumps it back in again. Now Duchesne. Get it away from Ellett. Comes over to this side. Todd Gill takes his time exiting the zone. Now finds Clark at center. Clark will try and play it off the glass, and in fact shoots it out of play.
The pucks have gone over the boards today as we look at Todd Ellett, who's having a good series for the Sharks. Had a great year. So far, 4 goals, 5 assists in the playoffs.
Scored the final goal in the Game 5 victory on that world-class setup by Vlasti Krupa. 3 goals in his last 2 games. 2 goals in the 8-3 loss. But at least the goals came, one of them in the third period, when the Sharks started to put things together a little bit. And I don't know if it was that momentum that carried over to Game 5 or not, but they started Game 5 like gangbusters with that Makarov goal on the power play inside the first 2 minutes, or on the breakaway. Here's Bob Rouse now for Toronto. They lead at 1-0. Eastwood couldn't get all the way by Jason Moore to get to the puck. Now Lacroix throws a check as Jamie Baker was having some trouble. Here's Cronin up the boards. Pat Falloon. He's hit by Lacroix. Eastwood in front. Baumgartner with the backhand sweep. Centered again by Toronto. Rouse back at the point. Fakes the shot. Gets around Airy. Tries it again, and Herbe's on top of it. We've got a penalty coming up, and Lacroix is down. We could have Cronin leaving. Cross-checking the indication, and I do believe it is Sean Cronin heading to the box.
Well, pretty good shift for those three guys. Baumgartner throwing his weight around, and of course the youngster, Eric Lacroix, who's trying to make an impression here, him throwing his weight around too, and puck changing hands. Here's a good play coming out at the blue line by Bob Rouse. He shoots the puck there, right in the middle of your screen. That's the penalty call right there. Look at Baumgartner just charging into Cronin here. Watch this shoulder-to-shoulder hit right there, and Sean Cronin stands up pretty good at that one, and the Sharks draw a penalty to Sean Cronin.
Well, we talked about the importance of the specialty teams. Toronto's power play first in the playoffs. Sharks power play 11th out of all the 16 that began the playoffs. Well, there's only 5 teams left. Shot tipped high as Mironov lets it go.
There's another one over
that one goes out.
Boris Mironov, who got a goal in the Dmitry Mironov got a goal in San Jose on the power play. Got a great shot from the point. He's got that quick release. Usually a defenseman will wind up, let that slap shot go. That'll let the goalkeeper get ready. But he's the kind of a guy who releases it quick, and he's pretty accurate at getting it on the net.
Now Gilmore to take the face-off against Jamie Baker. Herbe sweeps it to Krupa. Here's the youngest player still in the playoffs, Lasky Krupa. He's tripped up through the neutral zone. And Dave Ellett gets it back and leaves it for Gilmore. Now here's Ellett coming up the ice. Leafs with a 1-0 lead, looking to extend it here. Mironov sends it from center around for Gilmore. Gilmore has it broken up by Peterson. Now Duchesne, and he hits the linesman on this side, Randy Mitten. He's just trying to shake it off, but he caught it on the left leg. You guys are taking a pounding here. Here's Ozolin. Beat Borshevsky to the puck. Now clears it from behind the net. It comes in front. A second chance for Toronto. Herbe blocked that one. Now Mironov back to Ellett. Ellett to Mironov. Baker pressures him. Gilmore sends it back. Mironov tipped by Baker. Andrechuk back for it. Gilmore trying to center it. Back to the point, 41 left in the power play. Gilmore checked by Peterson. Out to Ellett. Andrechuk with Herbe down. Andrechuk looking, waiting, back to Ellett. Blocked by Ozolin. Sharks can't clear it out. Ellett again. Andrechuk in front, and it's lifted away by Peterson. Mironov from the bad angle. Herbe save. Rebound loose. Here's Borshevsky. Whistle is blown. And now Borshevsky from behind takes a whack at Jamie Baker.
Well, the Maple Leafs are really in Bill McCreary's face. They don't feel the referee should have blown the whistle because they had all kinds of movement going on this one, but once he loses sight of the puck, he's got to blow the whistle as the Leafs are really putting the pressure here on the power play. Here's Herbe down. He had a chance, Andrechuk, to maybe a second or two before that let that shot go, but he doesn't let it go. Now everything breaks loose. The Sharks reaching, trying to get that puck out of the blue line. They can't get it, and they finally get a break as the referee blows the whistle. Look at Herbe coming out. He's got to stay on his feet in a situation like that. He's helpless when he's down like that, and the Maple Leafs still got 14 seconds left of power play to work with.
There's Dave Andrechuk, and he has not been the force in this playoff either that you might have expected after his huge regular season. For the entire playoffs, Andrechuk with 4 goals. In this series, he's counted only 2 through the 5 games.
Both those coming in 1 game, right?
That's right. Here's Gardner off the draw, and that's tipped wide, actually high over the net. Picked up by Gilmore, centered to Gardner. Herbe's got it, and there was no rebound. Clark was trying to find one and didn't really smack Herbe too hard there. As you look at Mike Gardner skate away with 6 seconds left in the Toronto power play.
This is a hungry team. The Toronto Maple Leafs are jumping on all the loose pucks. You're going to see Gilmore is going to go behind the net, and Gartner is going to get in the slot right back there. See how he frees himself up right there, gets himself open, gets a quick pass from Gilmore, lets the shot go, and Irbe over on the short side to make the save.
Jason Moore, nice job to fight off the Leafs and get it down the ice, and that'll do it for the Toronto power play. So the Sharks weather the first storm with the man advantage for Toronto. Still 1-0 Maple Leafs with 9:36 left to go in the first period here of Game 6. Wendell Clark, who has the only goal, trying to jam it through and hit the side and came back out to Garpenlov. Hill just lifted up the ice. Sharks have their top line on the ice, and now Pat Burns gets his top checking line on the ice. Zezel, Berg, and Osborne. Berg's shot blocked by Norton. He's slow to get up. Centered for Berg. Now McCowan sends it along the boards.
There's got to be
get another whistle.
There's got to be a penalty, Randy.
Indeed there is from
Toronto.
The referee Bill McCreary, and it will be against the Leafs.
Mark Osborne just went barreling into Artur Zerbe on that particular play, and he deserves an interference penalty. Well, he was pushed a little bit there, but not that hard. And then,
2 minutes for goaltender
that's the call.
That's the second call they've gotten like that. That's kind of a tough call. Another one came in Game 5 for goaltender interference.
I didn't see the second hit on that one. Here's Osborne right there. He takes the first hit. I didn't see that second one, but that's the reason he goes tumbling into Artur Zerbe. There's the referee, Bill McCreary, right there. And off goes Mark Osborne for interference at 10:49 of this first period.
And there's Norton. He is wincing. He took a shot in the ankle, and he is trying to just walk it off a little bit. Here's how it happened.
Here's the shot right there. See, this is where, when you're a defenseman, you do not like to turn your leg sideways. You got the pads on the front, got a steel toe on the boot. He turned his leg, and that's where he got the shot.
Puck dumped into the Maple Leaf zone as Jamie McCowan chops it back to center. Todd Ellick with it for the Sharks. They trail 1-0. He backpedals all the way into his own zone and behind Irbe. Ellick out with Whitney and Goodrow. Peterson. And now it's Hoffman holding it in the glove as the Sharks' Ulf Dahlin comes down the right side. And the faceoff will stay in the Toronto zone.
Here's a situation with Todd Ellick is carrying the puck. Todd Ellick is carrying the puck. The winger's wide. Got to be skating. Now watch. Ellick's going to dump the puck in. Look where Ulf Dahlin is. He's nowhere near in the place. He's got to go hard and break for the net. If Ellick's going to dump it in, then that puck has to, Dahlin has to get in there and get it, as Whitney got a little bit of a massage there with Jamie McCowan's stick to follow through as he tried to dump the puck out of his zone. And
Whitney wears the full face shield. Good thing there. Sharks power play 11th in the playoffs. Toronto's penalty killing 5th best as Whitney is taken down by Elliott. And the puck's in amongst them. And we get another quick whistle from Bill McCreary. There's Whitney coming out of that mess. And you see that full face shield that comes all the way down.
It's good for high sticks. Get into a fight, nobody can punch you in the nose.
A lot of players don't like guys who wear face shields, though.
You know, your peripheral vision sometimes is affected. You don't know what's going on, around sides of you, and I think that's the biggest complaint from players and why they don't wear it.
Well, I mean more from opponents against guys who do wear them. They feel if you wear a face shield, you haven't got any right to start taking pokes at anybody.
Oh, okay. Right. Never thought of that. That's the talk around the league.
It's a sentiment held by some. If you're a guy wearing a face shield and you start throwing punches at somebody, it's a lot easier to do it. Here's Ellick at center. But the Leafs are really holding off this power play exceptionally well so far as they clear it again.
That was a high stick.
And we get the call as it will come back down for a face-off in the Toronto zone. 8:03 left in the period. 52 seconds left in the Sharks power play as they're looking to even up the score. Toronto in front 1-0.
Now we're going to look at the breakout coming up here by the Sharks coming down. Here's Todd Ellick. He's got a defenseman in towards him. Now watch the hit as the defenseman stays with him, takes him out, puck coming up in the air. Here's the flip. Toronto Maple Leaf player getting that stick above his shoulders, and that's where the faceoff comes deep inside the Maple Leaf zone, and the Sharks send out their main people. Makarov, Larionov, and Bob Airy is up there on the right side. Good change.
Now we've seen that changed from Game 5 when Erie got the power play goal, the one that deflected off Rau's skate. Here's Larionov. Middle of the ice, all over to the left wing. Now back. Here's Norton. Ozelin fakes the shot, back over to Igor. He'll peel away from Lefebvre. Ozelin setting a pick for Larionov, who leaves it for Norton. Back to Igor. Down to Makarov. Makarov waiting, plays it into McCowan. Keeps it alive, back to Larionov. Now Norton at the point, 15 to go in the power play. Larionov winding up, shooting it off the skate, and then it's picked off the boards by Potvin.
What do we tell you about those boards?
Wow, are they like?
Yeah, that comes off like a lacrosse bar. All those lacrosse balls bounce. These goalkeepers, they work on this. Believe me, they know how lively these boards are. To watch the shot, finally Larionov decides to shoot the puck. It hits the defenseman up front, comes rolling right towards the crease. Makarov just a split second away from being able to knock that one into the empty net.
Well, there's the playoff scoring leaders before tonight's game began. We mentioned Doug Gilmour leading everybody with 21 points. The Rangers' Brian Leach second, and then Igor Larionov tied with former Russian countrymate Pavel Bure with 16 points each. And if all goes well for the Sharks, that will be the next great matchup we talk about come Monday night. But that only will happen if the Sharks get by Toronto. Here's Moore with a shot, and that deflected off Ellett into Potvin. Potvin didn't know where it was. Ehlers started looking behind him. Now Cronin, his shot goes wide as the Toronto penalty is over. Played out past center ice, and Cronin back to touch it up. This will be icing against the Maple Leafs. Still 1-0 Toronto. We'll be back. A game Toronto needs to win to stay alive in the playoffs. They got to this round last year, only to be knocked out of this round by the Los Angeles Kings. Here is Baker clearing it up the ice. Gill chasing it down, and he'll touch it up. Coming up in our first intermission, we will go back to the Hockey Hall of Fame and visit there here in Toronto. I'll give you a little bit of a guided tour. We'll also go back to San Jose Arena, and we will visit with Robert Bronstein as he will talk to some of the fans gathered there to watch this big Game 6 as well as highlights.
Things awfully quiet over there right now. 960 shots on goal. The Toronto leading in that department. Coach of the Year one year with Kansas City in the International Hockey League, and Kevin Costantini, one of the 3 finalists this year. Right here, those awards will be in Toronto in June.
Here Todd Ellick now on a break down the left side. Todd Gill takes him out. Sharks get the shot off, but it's wide. Fans like the physicality of the check by Gill. Seems like that's all they talk about here in Toronto. Hitting, and more hitting. And if there's not enough of it, they need more. Here's Ellick to Dahlin behind the net. Gill trying to tie him up. Duchesne trying to pick it out of Dahlin's skates. Finally, Dahlin gets it loose. Has his stick on it, but being held. And now Gilmour will work it off the glass. Peterson dumps it right back to that corner again. Now Duchesne throws a check at Gilmour. Leafs get it out. Now Gill and Gartner. Mike Gartner now has Wendell Clark with him. Dumps it on net, and Irbe will glove it and play it ahead to Ellick. Ellick just clears it to the neutral zone as the Sharks look to change up here with 5:35 left in the period. Dahlin gets it back out to center. Bob Rouse across the red line at center, and Irbe has to beware with Gartner, and he gave it right to him. Gartner back, and the shot knocked down by Irbe. Clark was trying to get his stick up. Artur's had it in the glove, and Clark will back away from a confrontation there as the Leafs want to stay away from dumb penalties. But Irbe, making a mistake on the distribution there, gave it right to Gartner.
Well, the Sharks definitely are just laying back a little bit here, and you're going to see Artur's coming out, and then on his backhand, that's not the strong part for him, but he's just trying to drive it along the boards. Doesn't get much on it. Nice soft pass by Gartner over to Peter Zezel, who, puck, I guess, just flipped up on him there, and it just come floating to Artur's Irbe. Look at the hits that the Toronto Maple Leafs are putting on the Sharks in this hockey game. That's a couple in this game that Ellick has absorbed. Todd Gill right there lines Ellick out and rubs him up against that fence pretty good.
Toronto out shooting the Sharks 11-6 in this first period. 5:23 to go in the opening 20 minutes. Here's Ozolinsh, and he blindly and with some speed on it dumps it back to Larionov, who had no chance. Out through the middle. Here's Ozolinsh, picks it off the boards, goes around McCowan with it. The fade, sidesteps Makarov, and now it's Norton with it at center. Here's Garpenlov, throws the head fake. Zezel picks it off his stick. Osborne lost it at center. Now Zezel checks Garpenlov as Norton comes in. 1-0 on Wendell Clark's goal at 5:26. More trouble for the Sharks in the neutral zone. Leafs containing them pretty well the last few shifts. Here's Garpenlov, turns back, looks for a line mate. McCowan instead plays it up the boards. Now Eastwood trying to dump it out. Here's Makarov from the steal. He thought about a shot, and now Makarov is cut.
Yep.
And we've got a penalty coming to Toronto. I think Makarov's been cut.
Oh, yeah.
He certainly was hit.
Only a 2-minute call though. Bob Rouse is the one who got the stick up in Sergei Makarov's face. Referee didn't even go look at Makarov. That's the strange thing. Went right over, signaled 2 minutes, slashing or high sticking.
Maybe he's not been cut. I don't see him getting any treatment.
Well, I mean, how does the referee know that? He doesn't go over and take a look. Here's the stick right there. Makarov just leaves the puck. Just leaves it and starts skating towards the bench. The referee's nowhere in sight. But I guess he's got good eyes. That's why he's a referee. No, there he is. There's the shot right there by Rouse. Makarov just goes right to the bench. Referee saw that. So Rouse in 2 minutes for slashing.
15:43 time of the penalty, and there's Sergei, and he's not cut. Just a little sore on the inside of the mouth. Some rubbing it there. Second power play try for the Sharks in the game. Had a couple of shots off first time, but it has not been their forte in this series. Really hasn't been all year long. Got better with Dahlin, but still not to put them up in the top half or anything even close to that. Off the boards, it comes down to McCowan. Now Whitney with it. He'll steer it behind the net. Dahlin moving it back and forth. Flips it in front. Whitney was tied up. Nobody was in front. Ellick was wide to one side. Whitney wide to the other. And Goodrow and Peterson were hanging well back.
Ray Whitney in front of the net. He's not big, but he's got to get his stick on the ice. If that puck comes quickly out front, he's got to be able to jam it in.
Off the dump in, it's cleared right back down again. And the Leafs have killed the first minute of this power play. Herbe, oh boy, that one just missed Zezel. Here's the steal, and off the post. And Herbe continues to put his team in a tough spot with his inability to hold the puck behind the net or control it. Ozolinsh back for Peterson. Here's Makarov. Through center, dumps it in, and now the Sharks will chase. Makarov tripped on his way to the puck, fired out again.
And Toronto very dangerous when they're killing a penalty. They've got 4 shorthanded goals in the playoffs so far. That's number 1.
And they lose it. Here's Osborne. He'll wisely turn out and burn as much time as he can. And there's down to 10 seconds, and this is about as bad a power play as the Sharks have had in the playoffs, the one we're witnessing right now. Larionov turns it over. Clark would have had a breakaway, but Garpenlov did a job to hold him up a little bit. Now Norton trying to ride Clark to the corner. Does. Puck comes to Ozolinsh. He'll give it right to Gartner. At the side, Clark trying to jam it in. Herbe's down. No goal, despite Clark lifting his stick. But the Sharks turning it over in their own zone as their power play ran out. Ozolinsh just gave it right to Gartner.
That absolutely will drive the coaching staff crazy. It's hard enough to get the puck as it is when you don't have it. Then when you just hand it to the other team, you give it to people like Mike Gartner and Wendell Clark who know what to do with that puck. And Seeing that particular play, Clark trying to jam it into the short side. Finally can't see it, so what he does, he tries to jam Irbe into the net. Say, hey, if I can push the goalie, puck's got to be under him somewhere. But referee Bill McCreary was right there to signal that there was no goal. You're going to see this play once again. The Sharks just giving that puck away. Here's Wendell Clark taking a couple of wraps. And they're still standing, Maple Leaf players. That's where the Shark defensemen got to get in there and knock some of these white jerseys down. Here's the giveaway right there, up the middle.
Oh.
Terrible play right there. Here comes Cartner, who doesn't really get much on that one. Here's the jam. 2-3. Clark, much too many chances right there at the side of the net. He's got his arm up, but see the referee there on the left of your screen signaling no goal.
Faceoff stays in the Shark zone. Off the draw, it's Jason Moore to this side. 1:50 left in a shaky first period for the Sharks, but they may be lucky to have just given up one goal. They've been outshot 13-6. Here's Clark again. He'll dump in and Gartner to chase it. Irbe out of the net. And he plays this one into the crowd.
Well,
let's see what the call is here.
There is no call.
We're going to just leave the faceoff in the Shark zone, but we've seen Irbe put one over the boards here that resulted in a penalty.
I think it hit something.
It must have.
At least from the Shark perspective, it hit something. Here's Irbe. He's got to get something on it. He's going to really drive this one. This one goes right up over the glass, and the Toronto Maple Leafs right over after referee Bill McCreary saying, hey, how about a little delay of the game call there, but no such thing happening.
Well, that was the penalty called against Artur Irbe back in game 1 when the Leafs got a 1-0 lead, but the Sharks came back to win. When Irbe took that penalty in game 1, the Sharks were able to kill it. It was a little more directly over the boards than that one was. Here's Borshevsky behind the net. Krupa does a nice job. The dump pass back to Gilmore. He centers it. Krupa got a piece of it. Another shot. That was blocked as Andreychuk goes to it. He drives it right through the middle. And back to Dahlin on this side with 1:10 left in the period. Dahlin throws it across. Ellick will play it off the boards. Lifts it toward the net. Off the rebound. Almost got a second try.
Last minute of play in this period.
Third pass center. Here's Borshevsky after it. Shane. Up for Norton. Norton to Ellick. Ellick gloves it down. He has Dahlin with him. They crisscross. Dahlin takes the pass. Both Dahlin still with it. Good shot, and Potvin stops it. He'll hold it there just in case, as Garpenlov was standing off to the side. And there's 39.9 seconds left in this first period.
Randy, you brought up a good point. The Sharks have to be awfully happy that they're only down by 1 goal after this first period. They're outshot 13-7, but here's Ellick staying with his check, center on center in the defensive zone, just staying by Gilmore, knocking him down. But look at Gilmore getting up, jumping on that loose puck, but being outplayed in this first period. Now Peterson gives Gilmore a shot, but well, I'll tell you, we've been looking down at the left side, the Shark zone all period here, and getting out of this period down only 1 goal. I think they'd have to consider themselves very fortunate.
Still 39.9 left. Face-off down in the Leaf zone. Here's McCowan. Osborne takes the pass, sends it down. Now a race as Berg cuts in from the neutral zone, but Norton gets to it ahead of him. Up for Garpenlov, couldn't control it. Irbe will have to play this one out. And then he's upended.
Zezel.
And a penalty coming to Zezel, and that's not a good penalty for Toronto to take. Those are the kind of penalties that Pat about avoiding. The Leafs make a mistake here. Big mistake if the Sharks score on the power play.
Well, you see what Pat Burns thinks of that call. Here's the race for the puck. Irbe comes out, and here he comes, and well, you know, he's turning on that particular play, but I'll tell you, there's so much protection given to the goalkeepers in the league that when they stray out of that crease and anybody brushes against them, he's going to get the call. Here's Irbe, and it doesn't look like he goes barreling in him with his shoulder or anything like that. He's obviously just turning there, and the skate got a hold of Artur Irbe, and I think Artur's maybe put a little bit of a show on there, but it worked.
Part of the problem is you live to some extent by your reputation as well, and the Leafs have a reputation, and they've developed into this series of wanting to try and get to Herbe a little bit and get physical around him and around that net. And when you send that guy in deep and he clips the goaltender, whether or not it's a minor infraction or not, you run that risk.
You also got to remember, when you go after him like that and you get him to come out of the net and start clearing it, that physically takes a lot out of a goalkeeper. And when a goalkeeper starts getting tired, it gets to his legs a little bit and throws off his concentration. And I'm sure that is something that is in Matt Burns' plan for the Maple Leafs.
Third power play try for the Sharks. Based on their last one, Burns shouldn't be that upset with the Sharks on the power play because they didn't do much of anything on it. And Lefebvre dumps it over the blue line as the period ends. So the Sharks fell behind again. Sharks tied it again and then won it on a Garpenlov goal late that you'll recall. Broken stick right off the faceoff.
Whitney's lost. He doesn't know where it is.
I don't know if it was broken or he just lost the handle. A little stickum needed there. Here's Tom Peterson then as this power play gears up. Goodrow slaps it from center. Off the boards, knocked down nicely by Ellick. Now they'll set up. Over to Goodrow. Didn't release the shot. Peterson tries to dish over to Ellick. Lost the handle. And now we have a whistle.
Double minors. Double minors.
Whitney and Lefebvre were mixing it up in front of Potvin, and we're going to get double minors.
Well, Lefebvre is 6'2", 205 pounds. A little dance in front of the net there. You see the signal. One's a cross check, and Lefebvre and Ray Whitney in front of the net as the Sharks, Tom Peterson and Todd Ellick, are throwing the puck back and forth. Right in the middle of your screen right there is where they're going at. There's the cross check right there. And I think Whitney got his stick up there right underneath the chin there, and then that a response of a slash across the back of the legs, and both these guys will cool their heels.
That comes at the 32nd mark. So there's still a power play for the Sharks with the offsetting situation. 1:11 remaining on the man advantage for the Sharks. Off the draw, they have it at the point. Dumped toward the net by Peterson. Now he steps in from the blue line, trying to release it from Gilmore. Gilmore gets a piece, but not enough. Here's Ulf Dahlin. Check by McCowan, tried to hit it on the short side. Odgers out there on the power play now, sends it to Goodrow. Touch pass over to the other side. Ellick with it. Ellick dumps it to Dahlin. Dahlin looking to the front of the net, sweeps it around to the other side. Peterson there to Ellick, to Goodrow, to Peterson. The shot blocked in front. McCowan will clear it.
McCowan not only blocked it, fell right at his feet, and he was able to dump it. I like the fact that Odgers is in front of the net for the Sharks. He's a tough guy to move out of there.
Norton went around Gilmore, but then lost it, and Rouse clears it again. And now just 17 seconds left in the Sharks power play. They trail 1-0 here early second period. Karov had some trouble, now gets it back up to Norton. Norton leaves it for Ozolinsh. Sandis Ozolinsh stops at the boards, stick handling, dumps it to the corner. Marianov comes in to the boards. Makarov gives it back, gets it back, leaves it, and Norton was well off the boards at the point. Quickly they get it back. Marianov to Garpenlov. Here's Garpenlov in front for Ozolinsh, and Potvin knocked it away. Now Gill with it. The penalty's over, and the Leafs have killed off a second straight power play chance for the Sharks. Third, actually, and it's still 1-0.
The Sharks didn't get any shots on goal on that power play. They didn't take any shots on goal.
And the puck out of play now with 17:51 left in the second period. Sharks need to get some production. When they score 4 goals this playoff year, they don't lose. They've not lost a game when scoring 4 or more goals. John Cullen. Wendell Clark now dumps it in for Gartner. Off the boards, Gartner trying to get away from Cronin. Cronin forces him wide, then Sean Cronin knocking it up the wing. Comes over to Bob Airy. Works over Rouse. Airy sends it in as he falls. Now Potvin out of the net, and the puck drops to Maranov. Lucky break there for Toronto because Falloon was back there. Now Cullen trying to send it ahead for Clark. That's rejected. Now Falloon on the right side with Peterson and Airy. Falloon across for Baker off his skate. He tried to get it right to the stick for the shot and only got a little. Here's Krupa from the point. That tipped by Gartner. Now Dahlin comes in. Cullen checks him along with Mironov. Dahlin lost the helmet. Here's Dahlin off the boards. Dahlin shoots. Saved by Potvin. And the rebound comes out to Cullen. He's 2-on-2 with Wendell Clark. Cullen shot and hit Peter, or rather Moore's stick, and went up into the seats. And we'll be right back. 1-0. Toronto leads. Early here, second period. Still 16:33 to go. Sharks trying to generate some offense. They have only 9 shots in the game. Here's Ellick. Leafs Gilmore gets it out to Borshevsky. Now back to Ellett. Ellett trying to send it ahead to Wendell Clark. Irbe out. Trying to leave it there for Krupa, who's checked from behind by Clark. But it comes out to Ulf Dahlin. Dahlin now across the blue line. It comes to Ellick, but the Sharks are offside. As Tom Peterson was coming in from the right side of defense, he got in a little early.
And Randy, if you go back to game 3 of this series, a couple of early shots in the game, the Sharks shooting the puck and scoring. They're just not shooting the puck enough. Here's that hit by Wendell Clark, trying to get something going as the Maple Leafs have cooled off a little bit, not doing the forechecking that they did in the first period. But here comes Clark in, and he's just going to bull right over. Look at his Krupp on that play. But getting back to shooting the puck, you got on Potvin. You get a couple of shots early on him, he starts losing confidence in himself. They're just not getting any quality shots. They're just waiting too long, giving up too many extra passes. Shoot the puck towards the net.
Norton to Garpenlov, and he plays it away from Ozolinsh. Has to hustle back, and now the Sharks come out. Here's Garpenlov, turns away. This time Ozolinsh has it to Norton. Now ahead to Larionov. Again, this line is content to keep turning back until a pass develops. Larionov has it broken up. Zezel sends it back. Berg now behind the net. Centered. That went off Ozolinsh's skate. McCowan lost it. Larionov up for Garpenlov. He couldn't bring it in. McCowan to center ice, and he'll dump it back in with 15-13 to go. Irbe up the boards. And whenever he comes out to touch the puck, the fans here start giving it to him. Larionov swept away by Makarov. He will take McCowan. Swept away by McCowan. Now McCowan out of the corner. Ray Whitney back to Norton. Moore knocked down by Eastwood, but he was outside the zone, and it'll be brought back out on the offside call. 14:44 left here in the second. Still 1-0. And we are inside Maple Leaf Gardens. Game 6 of this best of 7 Western Conference semifinal. The winner of the series goes on to meet the Vancouver Canucks. And the winner of that goes to the Stanley Cup. Bob Airy checked at center ice by Ken Baumgartner. Then Airy coming back gets a piece of Baumgartner. Behind the net, Baker with it for the Sharks. Touched up by Eastwood, who has it now behind the net. Mike Eastwood centering pass, and Sean Cronin, who'd lost his stick, made a block. Now Cronin after Eastwood gives him a shove. Cronin still without a stick. And now it finally comes to Bob Airy. He can't get it out, but on second effort, Whitney does, and he'll drive it into the Toronto zone. Good work by Cronin there without the woodwork.
He made sure that he didn't grab onto the Toronto player. I think he wanted to. Realize there's no stick. I do that, I'm going to end up getting a penalty.
Here's Krupa. Backhand for Baker. Just got away from Gartner. Now down the wing. Peterson a drive, and that was high, but had a chance. Krupa brought it in across the blue line, but we have a penalty coming up, and we may have some more goaltending interference again as Dave Ellett goes off, and the indication from McCreary is tripping. Let's take a look.
Well, here's the play right there as he takes out. It was Jamie Baker on that particular play. Stayed with him, stayed with him, stayed with him, and there's no way Baker was going to cause any trouble there, and he just pulled his skates down, and there you see what Dave Ellett thinks of that situation. He gets a 2-minute tripping call. Pat Burns looking at Mike Murphy and saying, did that really happen? Here's Baumgartner running around. Look at that shot he gives on Bob Air. He got that line out there of youngster Lacroix, and then there he goes right back at it. When those three Maple Leafs get out there, there's no puck as far as they're concerned. They're just running after everything in the teal jersey.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pete, the Sharks have been getting their share of chances here with these power plays. This is their fourth, but they have only 2 shots on the prior 3 power plays. Toronto's had only 1 power play for themselves. Here's a chance in front. Dahlin stopped it, now gets it back, trying to center it. To Goodrow, his shot, blocked, loose in front, swept toward the net, and Alec couldn't lift it over Potvin. Best chance right there for the Sharks. Now Gilmore back the other way, peels out of harm's way over to McCowan, and he'll just drive it in. Actually drove it out.
Right over the glass. A good scoring opportunity right there for Todd Alec. Boy, you got to be real quick when you're in front of the net. Drive those pucks in, and the Sharks shooting the puck on the power play. That's where they got to do more. We're talking about that, driving the puck towards the net. Here's Dahlin controlling the puck. He's going to go behind. Look at Alec just to the right of your screen. The puck's going to come rolling out to him. He's going to get it on his stick. Right there. He's a split second quicker, and he gets that over Potvin. Here's the play right there. Dahlin gets it now. Instead of trying to jam it in the short side, he actually hits the side of the net, comes back. Here's the puck back at the point, saved by Potvin. Look at Alec, top screen right there. I don't know whether he got anything on that or not, or he just whiffed on that shot.
Back they come. Here is Alec again. Cross to Goodrow. He wanted to one-time it. The pass just wasn't there for him. Goodrow behind the net, tried to work at the Dahlin too much. Peterson took a big hit from Osborne after he released it. Goodrow flips the backhander to the corner, but it's cleared out by the Leafs. New penalty killers on for Toronto. The Sharks change up the line as much best as they could with that break. Alec's still out there. So is Dahlin. Puck in the corner. Alec gets it back to the point. Norton is there. He has Ozolinsh on the other side. Pass down low. Comes across for Ozolinsh. Good play there by Toronto's Bill Berg as he blocked just enough of it to knock it away from Ozolinsh.
That play works so often for the Sharks. They isolate Ozolinsh coming in, but Maple Leafs are fully aware of that's what the Sharks like to do, and Bill Berg smartly just turned around, was able to snare that pass.
Down to 13 on the power play. Karpilov after the dump in. Bumped by Lefebvre, comes to Norton. Over to Makarov. Sergei back to Igor, or to Ozolinsh. Norton with it. His shot blocked by Potvin. The rebound, and he's got it in the mitt.
No, you don't have it.
No, he doesn't. McCowan's got it in his body. And now Larionov battling for it. Tussling with Doug Gilmore. Power play's over. Leafs still lead 1-0. And if you remember back to game 2 against Detroit, they went 0 for 9 in a loss to the Red Wings. Those power play goals mean a lot. Here's Larionov with a break. Igor scores! An almost identical situation to 2 nights ago when in the first period, Sergei Makarov took advantage of a breakdown and he scored a breakaway.
Well, there's what happens. Larionov just comes out of nowhere. Look at the jam up right in the center of the ice there. And out of the pack comes Igor Larionov. All by himself. Potvin comes in, but he leaves some room there on the short side. Look at the turnover right there. Maple Leaf players getting up the ice. There's the jam right there. Now look at Larionov. Here he is, looks up. Just he and Potvin all by himself. Defenseman closing in, so Larionov drills it home to tie the game.
And there's a live shot from San Jose Arena, and the fans are cheering for Igor Larionov's goal that's tied this game at 1.
That's what happens in that neutral zone. If people are skating and you start making diagonal passes, if the thing jumps over somebody's stick, there's nobody back, no safety valves. Sharks were able to take advantage of that one. That's a big goal for them.
4th playoff goal for Larionov. So it's 1-1. Wendell Clark poking it free. Here's Gilmore at the side of the net. Herbe can't find it. It came off him, and it's still alive as Cronin works it around the boards to Whitney. Here's Whitney now with Airy 2-on-2. They crisscross at the blue line. Whitney trying to get a wrist shot off, and he fanned. Doug Gilmour gives it away at the blue line, and that was a near break for Peterson. Oh, the Leafs are guilty again of some dangerous play at their own line with nobody back. Sharks were guilty earlier in the game when Ozolinsh coughed one up to Gardner, but here on almost 2 consecutive shifts, the Leafs give up breakaways.
What the Sharks have done in the second period, Randy, they've really slowed down the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've talked, the best they could go is what they did in the first period. They have no shots on goal so far here in the second.
Urbe out to clear it around, held in. Now he fans trying to knock it down. And we get a report that Gilmour seems to have re-injured himself. He's been playing on a bad left ankle all series long.
Now the crowd's calling for too many men on the ice. Sharks were changing on the fly there.
Here's Urbe now trying to settle it. Has it in the skates. Norton has it on the stick. And now here comes Larionov. Just off the blade of his stick. Ahead to Ozolinsh now. Leaves it at the point. Dahlin with it, with the Sharks trying to complete a line change. Duchesne trying to reach back. And it's cleared out by the Leafs. Karpelov and Ozolinsh get the assist on Larionov's 4th playoff goal at 8:43. Here he is again. Igor sends it in. Now Jamie McCowan. The Leafs have to be a little more careful exiting their zone here the way the Sharks scored the tying goal. Too reminiscent of Makarov's goal in Game 5. Karpelov has the puck. Trying to work it out. And it's knocked away. Gill sends it up the boards, but it goes out of play with 8:53 left here in the second period.
A lot more jump out of the Sharks here in the second period. The Maple Leafs are credited right now with 1 shot on goal. Doug Gilmour, I assume he's okay. He's not being attended to by anybody. Here you're going to see what happened. He tries to jam it in, and he gets the hit pretty good right there by Sean Cronin. Look how slow he is getting up, and he's limping. Legs are a little wobbly there as he heads back down to the other end, but he'll be back in the game, that's for sure.
One thing that works to his favor, boy, he got in again. One thing he does have going for him is he's not double shifting at center ice. They've brought Cullen in to help spell Gilmour just a little bit, but he certainly took a couple of shots there.
Well, Leafs right now got this big muscle line of Eastwood, Lacroix, and Baumgartner out there, so look for some bodies flying with those 3 guys on the ice.
Well, after being outshot in that first period, 13-7, the Sharks have come right back to even it up. Whitney with a chance, but it got away. Now Cronin sends it in as the Sharks have to come back on side. Baranov over to this side. Lacroix trying to shovel it up the boards. Whitney there again, and he's turning into be a little pest for the Leafs up there in the offensive zone on the forecheck. Cronin back for the icing call against Toronto with 8:28 left here in the second period with the game tied at 1.
Well, moving the puck much better, getting some shots on goal, and getting the puck out of their own zone. And I'm sure Arturs Urbe very happy with the workload he's had. Only 1 shot this period. Here's, we talk about Kenny Baumgartner. This is an icing. He jumps over Jason Moore. Already Sean Cronin's back there for the touch.
Good hustle though by Baumgartner.
Well, you know what? He's not going to get to it. He's just exerting some energy that he really doesn't have to. As Cronin had about 5 or 6 strides on him there to touch up on the ice.
All right.
Well, here's the goal. Look at the back. Everybody gets into the back here. Here's the goal. Look at Karpelov. He's going to get it right there. I think he kicked it. It looked like he may have kicked it, Randy. Hey, that, you know, boom, right to Larionov. Makes no mistake on the play.
Nice finishing by Larionov. He couldn't pass there. There was nobody else with him.
I think his stick was tied up, and he just may have kicked it.
I meant Igor. He had to shoot.
Maybe a little World Cup soccer action that we're going to be seeing this time.
Sweden. They're in it.
That's right.
That's what Karpelov's from. He's still trying out for the team. Todd Gill behind the Maple Leafs net. 8 minutes left here in the second period. It's a 1-1 game. A game Toronto must win or their season will end tonight as Duchesne gets back behind the blue line. Now to Tom Peterson. Gilmour with it. Sends it back the other way. Dave Andrechuk takes the blue line. Gives off to Gartner. Gartner gets behind the defense. Gartner coming around. Jams it in front. Bounces free and Larionov just gets enough of it to clear it out. With Gardner's speed, once he gets past that last line of defense, even if he has to go around the net, it can be so dangerous. Loose puck in front. Gilmore diving after it. He's upended. Play goes on. Peterson trying to headman it for Larionov on this side. Maybe McCowan back for Toronto. Gardner rushed by Makarov in the corner. Garpenlov comes out with the puck. Lefebvre takes him out. They leave it in the corner. Garpenlov goes back for it. Puck frozen along the boards. Now Makarov gets it free. Tries to center it. It's off the side of the net. Now Gilmore tries to spring Gardner free. Back to Garpenlov. He takes a hit from Clark as he dumps it back into the Toronto zone. Sharks change up with 6:44 to go in the second period. 1-1 the score. Cronin ahead for Baker. Now to Airy with Whitney. Airy took a hit from Lefebvre. Cronin in front, and that'll come to McCowan. They'll just bump it out again. Boy, do they like body checks here. They might like them more than goals.
Every time Wendell Clark is on the ice, you can take a piece of something.
Here's a breakaway for the Sharks. Whitney.
Offside.
We've got a whistle, though, as he was dumped at the top of the crease. Eastwood centering pass. Wendell Clark was there, couldn't get good wood. Now Alec ahead to Duchesne. The second period has opened up a little bit for the Sharks. Here's Rouse. Eastwood can't control. Duchesne again. Alec crossing the blue line with Dahlin and Duchesne. The pass to Dahlin. Dahlin comes around, tries to center it, hit escape. Now Moranov peels off, goes to the corner. He'll clear it out of the zone right to Eastwood. Eastwood held up by Ozolinsh as Norton gets back. Norton. And throwing the check at him is Clark, but Clark really missed on it. Here's Alec back the other way. Poke checked away by Gill. Now the Sharks have to exit the zone, and Garpenlov is very deep inside it. They just dump it in. We get a report that Dave Andreychuk of the Leafs has gone to their dressing room. He took a hit in the corner a little earlier in the period. There's a glove save by Urbe. Knocked away with a high stick, but we have a whistle and an offside. So we'll await word on Andreychuk, but he got up rather awkwardly after going into the boards earlier in the period. As you look at the Leafs captain Wendell Clark, and their confidence has to be tested just a little bit here in the second period, as the Sharks not only have shut Toronto down offensively, but they come back with the goal.
Well, here's the play with Ozolinsh is coming up. See how he's going for the net, looking for somebody, looking for that pass coming across. Now he sees the puck going over and Maple Leafs getting possession, so he bails out and gets back into his defense position. And here's the hit. Him and Peterson, a little size differential there. And look, it goes to show you how strong Tom Peterson is. He goes shoulder to shoulder with Dave Andreychuk, and after that play, Andreychuk very slowly went to the bench and ended up heading into the locker room.
There's Ozolinsh, the top scoring defenseman in the regular season for the Sharks, with 64 points. And his 26 goals were second among all defensemen in that category, behind only Calgary's Al McInnes. Left knee problem for Dave Andreychuk, and no word on the severity quite yet. We'll keep you posted as we get more information here in Toronto. Jamie Baker for the Sharks. Dumps it in front, just a little ahead of Ray Whitney. Zezel sends it back to this side. Cronin has it. He'll throw it to the net. It's loose in front for Whitney. Lifts it off, and it's Potvin stopping it, as Whitney had a great chance there to lift it over the shoulder, but it's still 1-1.
See that all of a sudden Gilmore's line is out there against Igor Larionov, so Pat Burns looks like he's changed his defensive strategy here against the Larionov line.
Sharks trying for the turnover here right off the draw. They've got it. Garpenlov drops it back. Here's Makarov. Ozolinsh couldn't handle the pass, and now the Leafs will exit the zone. Gilmore up to the blue line. Sends it ahead for Lacroix. Larionov back to center, and he'll just flip it in. 1-1 the score. Toronto started when Clark scored. 5:26 first period. Sharks tied it up in this period 8:43 when Igor Larionov got his fourth of the playoffs and his 13th point. In our second intermission, which is right around the corner, we'll visit with San Jose Mercury News columnist Bud Geraci, who's here in Toronto covering the series, part of the huge media contingent for the Bay Area. And we'll go back to the arena, part 2, with Robert Bronstein and a few friends.
Okay. Only the goal scorer of the game, the leading scorer for the Sharks in the playoffs, Igor Larionov, in this second period to square things at a goal apiece. The feeling there's going to be a lot of dramatics in this one before it's over, Randy.
Tight hockey game here, obviously, with the score 1-1. It has not been a low-scoring series except for Game 1, which the Sharks won 3-2. But by this time in that game, there were already 4 goals scored. Peterson slaps it up to the blue line. It comes out. Dahlin trying to get it. Has it along the boards. Little pass for Duchesne doesn't go. And now Potvin leaving it for Dave Ellett. Leafs must find a way to win. Here's Wendell Clark breaking in on Urbe. Saved by Artur. Now Duchesne back on the transition. He fakes the shot. Goes wide on Gill. Dumps it in front. Comes back to the point. Here's Jason Moore. Trying to stick handle around Gill. And doesn't attempt the shot. Now Dahlin chops it behind. Gill up the boards. And Borshevsky's pass is broken up by Jason Moore. Here's Cronin. Dumps it off the boards as the Sharks are making a change. 3 minutes left in the second. Here's Gilmore. He'll send it in. Bill Berg setting up for it. Taken to the boards by Baker. Berg comes off the boards with the puck. Leaves for Gilmore. Deflects off Berg. Hervé steers it aside. Rouse back behind the net. Cronin getting tied up with the referee McCurry. Gives the Leafs a chance to come in and get in on the play. Now Baker flips it up the wing. That goes off the glove of Whitney. Rouse sends it back in. Airy out across the line, and Dmitry Moronov for Toronto back deep in his own zone with Whitney pursuing. 1-1 the score. Here's Moronov through center ice. Just easily poke checked away by Cronin. Given back to Osborne, but it came out. Boy, that looked like an awful close call. But Randy Mitton making no mistake with his indication. There's Ray Whitney, an active shift for him at both ends.
And what he's doing on that play that you notice with Ray Whitney, he's back checking. That's what the forwards got to do. You're never too late to come back and help. And when Sean Cronin sees that Whitney is coming back, he's able to step up a little bit inside the blue line and stand up the forward. Here's the play by Clark shooting, but you're going to see way over on your left, Gilmore was wide open, and I think that Urbe may have got that one right on his mask and did. Clark showed some pretty good speed there, and Urbe, who hasn't got a lot of work in this period, that's only his second stop of this middle session.
2 for Toronto on the shot clock this period, compared to 13 in the first. Sharks can win a lot of games if they only face 2 shots a period. Only need to win 1 more in this series. Here's Larionov to center ice. Puck was bouncing off his stick back to Lefebvre. Now Igor with it again, throws it back. Well, the Sharks have done a super job against Toronto in this second period. They've got them back playing the way the Sharks like to play them, not the way Toronto wants to play against the Sharks. Norton to the blue line, sends it in, and you see the Leafs are getting a lot of people back defensively. McCowan and Duchesne, and now a penalty coming up.
Duchesne's going to get a hold. Yep.
Holding penalty to Gaetan Duchesne. He points to himself and says, "Me?
What?
Yes. Vous."
Well, Jamie McCowan was also involved, so he's looking at the referee too. Both these guys went after each other. I think Duchesne just grabbed Jamie McCowan to avoid him and try and get around him. Here you'll see the play left of your screen. There's Duchesne right there, grabbing McCowan by the shoulder and just turning him right around and going down on the ice. And that's the reason why Gaetan Duchesne picks up that penalty.
San Jose penalty to number 11, Gaetan Duchesne.
Well, that's only the second minor penalty of the game to the Sharks.
Yep, there it is right there. Duchesne trying to avoid the check of Jamie McCowan. Jumps up, gets that arm out, and McCowan goes down, and that's why he gets called on it. There's another angle of it. Eventually, Duchesne ends up with the penalty and getting the worst of that collision, as he's the one who went down pretty hard on that play.
Well, he's a little confused with the play. Probably his opinion, he was just trying to get out of the way. So the Leafs go to the power play for only the second time tonight. Sellout crowd here at Maple Leaf Gardens making a little noise. But you can see not 100% participation. 4 shots on the one power play that they had back in the first period. Peterson slaps it in, and Potvin will leave it for Moranov as the Leafs have this very good power play unit all together here now. Moranov with Ellett at the points, and then it's Gilmour, Gartner, and Clark. Herbe up the boards, and that'll go out of play. And it's going to be a face-off in the Sharks zone. No penalty on the play. Fans wanted it, but he used the glass and boards, and it just took a bad care of him.
Absolutely. It hit something before it went over the glass. There's the shot. Herbe's going to drill this thing. He's going to drive it over the glass. Wendell Clark, the captain, is talking to the referee. No call. The puck goes over the glass, and immediately the referee just skated over to the spot there and says, here, that's where the face-off is going to go. Duchesne 134 left in his penalty, and Duchesne one of the better penalty killers for the Sharks. So we're going to see exactly who the Sharks are going to be using on their 2-man front unit to kill this penalty.
Right now they've got Krupa out with Peterson, Baker, and Airy. 1-1 the score here in the second period. Is this the biggest game of the year for both teams? Yeah, it is. Ellett to Gilmour. Shot deflected in front and past the open side. Clark couldn't get his stick down. Moranov to Ellett. His one-timer. That's deflected. Herbe really working over Gartner in front. He just cross-checked him down to the ice. The time you see is the time left in the second period. Herbe out to just settle it, and the Sharks can't clear it out. Now they will, as Airy just got enough on the puck to send it over center. Airy hustling to complete a quick change here with Goodrow. Pass for Gartner, too far for him. Nice job by Peterson, who's fresh and came on there for Airy.
That'll do it.
And it'll send it down, and that'll do it for the second period. So Toronto will have a 45-second power play coming back to start the third period. The overhead shot of Jamie Baker standing with Bill McCreary, and the Leaf fans up on their feet for really the longest sustained ovation I recall, as they're trying to give the Leafs a little bit of juice here in the period when they need it most. Herbe on the boards. Clark kicks it back to Gilmour. Krupa got a piece. Now back at the point, Moranov to Ellett. Behind the net to Gilmour. Leafs on the power play. Moranov drops it low. Now to Ellett, and it's blocked in front by Airy. Dave Ellett back for Clark, and he fanned. Airy trying to get it out, and it's kept in by Borshevsky. Power play still underway, and now Airy will clear it, and that'll do it for the Toronto man advantage.
What a defensive play by Captain Bob Airy as he threw his body in front of that puck and comes up with an excellent defensive play.
Dumped in by Toronto now. Teams are at full strength, but they have a whistle.
Yep. Well, they stopped skating, so I assume there's a whistle.
That'll do it. And they will bring it outside the zone. It went over the glass. Didn't quite see where it went into the crowd. Players were a little uncertain as to where the puck was as well. And there is Airy, and that was a huge block early in this period.
Oh, it sure was. You're going to see the Maple Leafs getting the puck over on the right-hand side of your screen. See 1, 2, 3 Shark players over there. The fenceman walking right in. Ellett. There was nothing between Ellett and Artur Herbe except the captain, and he slid out and came up with a big stop.
So the Sharks start the period with a penalty kill, and now it's McCowan. His shot deflects off Larionov. Ozolinsh up for Makarov. He tries to advance it out of the zone. Ozolinsh couldn't get it out. Osborne to Berg. Zezel breaking in, but Ozolinsh got it just as Norton slowed the pass up enough for Sandis to reach it. Could have been a huge play there for Toronto. But the Sharks defense takes care of business. Toronto really pressuring on the forecheck here. Now it's Garpenlov up for Larionov. Igor will dump it in off Lefebvre, and now that line peels off as the Sharks change up. Quickly to center for Berg. He's picked up by Duchesne. Herbe will steer it over to Peterson. Here's Lasty Krupa. Spun around by Baumgartner. Now the puck takes a bad hop on the boards for Toronto as Elliott gets it back to center. Moranov back up for Baumgartner. He's checked by Elliott. Eastwood after it now as Peterson plays it back for Krupa. Now Duchesne to Elliott. Back to Gaetan Duchesne. Duchesne across the line and hit. Nelson went wide. Baumgartner looking for it. Sends it up the boards. Mason Moore back, throwing it across for Sean Cronin. Gartner got a piece of it. Cronin able to sweep it across the line. Elliott trying to just get to center. Now Cronin's down and hurt. Cronin's injured. Down on the ice. Inside the Sharks blue line.
Mike Gartner, I think, got him with a high stick. And what Bob Airy, the captain, should do, and he does, is goes right over to the referee, Bill McCurry, and starts asking about this.
He's going to consult with his linesman.
You know, one thing about the referees, going to their defense, they got to watch a lot that's going on the ice, so they don't always see anything. So he's going to go over to the linesman, see what they see the blood coming out of the, I believe it's the nose of Cronin. Here's going to see Gartner right there as he turns around and gets that stick right there. DiPuzzo's over on the other side. Minton probably didn't see it, neither did the referee. So the three officials are going to have a chalk there. There's DiPuzzo, and there's the stick coming up, catching Cronin in the face. And now the referee and linesmen are all going to get together, and we'll see what results out of this.
I don't think anything, because Bob Airy's the last one talking to McCurry, and there's not going to be a penalty. So, as the Sharks got away with one in Game 5 when Cronin high-sticked Dave Andreychuk in front on what clearly was a major penalty from what we could see, the Leafs get away with one here on, interestingly, Cronin.
Well, you know, Mike Gardner, Andreychuk is back on the bench. There he is right there. He did not come out for the start of this period, but I guess they patched him up, taped him up, whatever else, and he's back out there.
The fans cheering for his return, and boy, do they need him in this game.
That's a big break there for the Maple Leafs. Twofold. Andreychuk coming back, and Gardner getting away with that high stick. No penalty called on him.
Funny how things even out, isn't it? Peterson up for Baker. Now Elliott delayed on sending it in because Andreychuk hasn't cleared. Now Gartner, but he was offside. He had to reach back for that pass.
Notice how the ice has shrunk here in the third period, and not much skating room.
Does that mean there's more seats available?
Andreychuk skating around a little bit just to see how that knee is feeling, but this is not the time to take off. The rest of the game is that guy directing where people should sit? No, actually that's the coach.
He was a
Pat Burns,
former policeman, which was well chronicled in San Jose, but I didn't know he was a Mountie.
Well,
he's got the ceremonial red coat on.
Always
there.
Gets his man.
Elliott dumps it in. Here's Cronin back out there, so not much repair work necessary. Leafs hold it in. Borshevsky centering pass. Herbe's looking for it. Still loose. And now with Baker helping out, he controls it. And Andreychuk right there on the doorstep, number 14, just looking for anything that is close to being loose.
Anything that's loose, he's going to grab. He got over 50 goals in the season. Look at him just looking around, going for the net, takes a swipe at it, then he stops and he keeps looking. A couple of the Sharks right there looking around as the Maple Leafs just able to hold that puck inside the blue line. Puck comes bouncing out in front. Andreychuk just gets there a second too late. Herbe's able to cover up.
Kind of get the feeling already, and we've only played 2:59 of this third period, but you get the feeling it's going to be played out like the last minute of a college basketball game in little tiny segments. Norton broken up. Makarov peels back and just dumps it to his own zone. Ozolinsh off the boards, too far for Garpenlov to reach, and that clearing attempt by the Leafs goes up into the seats. We pause with 16:44 left here in the third. Back to the action behind the San Jose net is Lasty Krupa. carefully working his way out of the zone. Now to center. Here's Alec. Back for Dahlin. Shot saved by Potvin. He just got that with the right skate. Now in front, another chance for the Sharks. Loose puck, and Dahlin on his back almost put it in. Sharks jumping on the Leafs here. Duchesne to Krupa. Passed it right into Duchesne. Now Dahlin in the corner. Checked by Andreychuk. And the Leafs for the moment get possession. But the Sharks with two good scoring chances. Loose puck at center. In comes Andreychuk. He's denied at the line by Peterson. And the Sharks clear it out as both teams look to change up. Now Gilmore. Check. Puck drops to Ellen. Back to Gilmore. Ozolin's forcing him to pass. Norton picks it off. Now Norton up the ice to Larionov. With Garpenlov and Makarov. 3-on-2. Poke check. Nicely done by Todd Gill. Now Gartner with good speed. But he's held up from behind. A penalty coming up to the Sharks.
Holding.
So the Maple Leafs will get a power play here. With 15:21 left in the period, Sandis Ozolinsh going on.
That was a good back-checking effort by Wendell Clark, who broke up a 3-on-2 and turning it back the other way. You see Gilmore circling in the neutral zone, and right there, Sandis Ozolinsh just trips him up as Gartner was turning around, going the other way, and Ozolinsh looking to see whether he gets away with it or not. There's the shot by Alec, dumping it over to Ulf Dahlin, who shoots the puck, and look at Todd Alec. He just went a little bit too deep. Has he stopped maybe 3 or 4 feet in front of the net, that rebound would have been right there at his feet. He went a little deep, and Potvin had to really come up and stretch that right leg to make the save off Ulf Dahlin.
There's Sandis Ozolinsh sitting in the penalty box for interference. 4:39 time of the penalty to the Sharks. Leafs are 0 for 2 so far with the man advantage. Kevin Constantine and Wayne Thomas looking on. And Gill off the draw had it, but pulled it back across the line himself. The Leafs have to bail out. Now Duchesne chases Moronov all the way to the back of the Leafs net. Now Moronov out to Borshevsky. Couldn't handle it. Trying to get by Peterson. And the Leafs go offside as a result. So not a good start to their power play. That's used up 20 seconds.
Quiet game for Borshevsky. Peterson really playing big back there as he goes over the bench now and gets some talking to by Wayne Thomas. Group of the other side, and it'll be Jamie Baker and Gaetan Duchesne will be the upfront guys on this penalty kill, as they've killed 20 seconds of the Ozolinsh penalty so far.
You said quiet game for Borshevsky. It's been a quiet series except game 3 in San Jose when he scored 2 goals in that victory. But other than that, he has not been a big factor for them. The Sharks were wondering what he would do to the Leaf game, because in the 4 games that the Sharks played Toronto during the regular season, they didn't get a good look at Borshevsky, who was injured. Here's Gill now as the power play continues for Toronto. They dump it in. Baker overskates it. Here's Wendell Clark. Throws it back to Moronov. Now to Gill on this side. Back to Moronov. Ellett normally works the left point. Gill shot. Gets through. They score.
Well, Wendell Clark gets himself in a good position, gets himself away from the defenseman, gets his stick on the ice. You're going to see the passing up high by the Maple Leafs. Now Clark, not in your picture right now. The shot's going to come through. The defenseman spots him over there. Look at him getting his stick on the ice in between the defense. And just redirecting that one into that. Peterson is keeping an eye on Doug Gilmore over there, but look at Wendell Clark. Look at that. Look how he gets his stick on the ice. His Krupa was all over him, but I'll tell you, you got to give Wendell Clark credit. He got that stick just on the ice at the right time and put it home.
Gill and Moronov get the assist on Clark's second goal of the game, 6th of the playoffs. A power play goal, and it's 2-1 Toronto. Now Peter Zezel rather. And it comes free to Norton for the Sharks. He'll play it up the boards and to the line. Karpinov to Larionov. Now to Makarov. Sergei kicks it up to the stick. To the blue line. Gets by Osborne. Lefebvre back there. Sharks trying to hold it in. They do. Norton drives it at the net. Popped from the save. Karpinov taken out by Lefebvre. Leafs play it up the wing and down the ice. And as Norton touches it, we have an icing call against Toronto.
Split second makes a difference in these hockey games, and Clark was able to convert it.
Now Rouse plays it around the boards. Cronin cheating in from the blue line to keep it deep. Baker back to bail him out. And now the Leafs will come out with it as Eastwood has it. Across the ice to center. Now Andreychuk can't work it past Jason Moore, but Moore gives it up to the blue line. Eastwood in front of the net, and Moore back to get it. Gives it up again to Andreychuk. Moore trying to push it out of the zone. Finally, it comes to Whitney. Whitney peels off on the right wing, dumps it to the open corner. Erie doesn't see the puck until too late. Now Eastwood checked by Whitney. Erie comes in, trying to free that puck. Sharks hold it at the point. Now it comes out to Baker. He'll just flip it in as the Sharks look to change up. So do the Leafs with 12:53 left here in the third period. 2-1 Toronto. Voronov dumps it in. Herbe settling it over to Peterson. Peterson sidesteps a check, fires it around to Duchesne. He's checked by Zezel. Elliott comes in, takes a look, dumps to center. Lacroix went flying behind the play. Dahlin sends it in for Duchesne. He and Zezel go to the corner. Duchesne rides Peter Zezel to the boards. Puck advanced behind the net. A chance in front for the Sharks. They score! It's Jeff Norton on a giveaway by Toronto. Dahlin set it up, and we're tied again.
Give Duchesne credit for going in there and tying up the Toronto Maple Leaf player. That left the puck loose. Dahlin come in, but watch what Norton is. I think he may have swatted this thing in the air. See Duchesne coming in there. Alec comes in next. The puck rolling to Dahlin, who shoots it. Look at the puck. I think he flipped up in the air a little bit, and I think he just drove it. I mean, what?
Look at the pass, though, by Dahlin.
Watch the puck. Watch the great play by Norton. The puck is up about, what, a couple of inches off the ice. He takes a swat at it, but some good forechecking. Two guys on the puck. The puck coming loose. Dahlin spotting Norton coming in from the point, throws it out, and Jeff Norton gets his first goal of the playoffs. A beautiful score.
Good timing. And it's 2-2 as the Sharks get it right back. Here's Ozolinsh. Leafs still throwing the body. Here's Gilmore after it. Puck comes free. Berg set up, couldn't get a shot. McCown a drive. Where is it? Ozolinsh has got it, and it's out of the zone. Now a race. Makarov breaking down the right side. He runs into the linesman who gets creamed. Here's Gilmore back the other way. Centering pass for Clark. He's tackled by Norton. Puck comes free to Larionov. Igor turning away from the forechecking Bill Berg, and up for more. And boy, if you're wearing the zebra suit tonight, you're taking a pounding.
Minton's got hit a couple times, referee a couple times, and Pat Capuzzo took 15 stitches over his eye. So I think it's easy being an official, huh?
I'll tell you, if I'm the substitute backup referee, I'm putting a helmet on up in the stands. Here's Baker. Slaps it in. And now a whistle. No, it's in the crowd as McCown controls in his own zone. Paul Stewart, by the way, is the backup referee if needed. We should give the whole lineup every night now after this. Here's Eastwood, tied up by Cronin. Eastwood will kick it ahead, get it back. Cronin still there, puck comes out. Whitney there for safety for the Sharks out halfway to the blue line. And Duchesne will dump in. Just one assist on Norton's goal. Dahlin at 7:38. Norton's first goal of the playoffs. Penalty coming up behind the play. Andreychuk, he took down Todd Ellick. Not a good penalty. We'll be back with the Sharks power play. Well, could have Giving a slash there to Ellick too and just evened it up, but he didn't.
I think maybe he said these guys lay off. Next guy who does something is going to go, and Andrechuk did, and he's gone.
That's a good call. Now the Sharks on the power play. 5th time. They haven't scored a power play goal tonight. This would be a good time.
Yeah.
Here's Peterson across the line with Dahlin. Ulf Dahlin set up the last goal. Puck knocked away by Elliott. Dahlin will go to the corner. Leaves it for Ellick. Now Odgers comes in. Frees the puck. Here's Goodrow. Winds up. Shoots. Save. Rebound. Cleared by Potvin. And cleared down the ice.
Dave Elliott just wiped out Dahlin, who was in front of the net, but that's the idea with Rob Goodrow, who's got a terrific shot. Let it go low. Potvin made the save, and luckily the Maple Leafs were able to clear people out in front of the net.
Here's Erie just sending it in now as the new group's out there on the power play. Cleared all the way down. And there's 56 seconds left to go on the Sharks power play. 2-2 the score. We're in the 3rd period with 9:20 left. Here's Larionov. Trying to send it in, and the Sharks go offside as Erie had committed to the zone. And this will come out with 44 left in the power play.
Igor Larionov, 1 goal in this game. Certainly the pivotal guy on that line. They like him to carry the puck up the ice, let Garpenloff and Makarov come from behind, and then dish it off. And such a key guy, 2nd in the National Hockey League with 13 assists. And look what he did in Game 5, 3 assists.
And they all came in a row as the Sharks unloaded on Toronto and pulled away in that game.
Well, he's the one. There's that last opportunity, the one we talk about, Goodrow. You're going to see the shot by Goodrow, nice and low, but here's the play right there. It's actually Odgers who gets picked up and thrown down to the ice by Dave Elliott. But, you know, you talk about Igor Larionov, Randy, and he kept saying, hey, when they're big games, those are the kind of games we like to play in. Those are the kind of games we like to excel in. So here's the perfect situation for Igor Larionov in his line.
Well, the only game that could be bigger would be a Game 7 Saturday.
Yeah, that would be a big game.
Pretty good by me there, huh? Here's Larionov. Still on the power play. Makarov. Stick handle shoot. Potvin had it covered. And then he covers it up as Garpenloff crashes through. But not a bad idea there by Makarov, because you know they're looking for him to find an open man.
Well, it's worked a couple times. You remember this year where he's over there and the goalkeeper may cheat a little bit because Ozolinsh comes dashing in on the left side. See him coming in? Sometimes the goalkeeper may see that through the corner of his eye and may just slip over there a little bit. Garov has scored a couple like that where the goalkeeper has cheated on that short side and he's put it upstairs, but didn't fool Felix Potvin that time.
Potvin just reading the angle there well, realizing Makarov had a shot. Puck loose, and it's played out by Toronto. 8:45 left in the period. Down to 10 seconds left in the power play, as you see. Sharks through center. Makarov stick handling to the blue line, and the Leafs get it out again. So they will kill this penalty. Ozolinsh lost it on the boards. Norton there for support. Boy, Ozolinsh looking tired, trying to get to that puck. Broken stick on the shot by Gill. Here's a loose puck for Clark. He mishandled it. Dump to Ozolinsh. Boy, does he want to get off. Got a delayed offside. Now Norton can't get rid of it. Here's a break for Clark. One man gets back. It's Makarov of all people. The Sharks need a change here. Get some fresh defense and a forward line out. Larionov blasts it and everybody goes off, and it's also offside. 7:57 left. We'll be back. Or with only 2, rather. They've not scored one in this game. Toronto has the only power play goal of the game, and that was Wendell Clark's 2-1 goal. Here's Bob Erie now at center as the teams are back at full and even strength. Whitney dumps it in for Erie. Erie to the corner, taken out, and the Leafs will work it to Wendell Clark at center. Cronin back with more. Clark waiting for the troops to arrive. Knocked off his stick to Elliott. Elliott shot by Eastwood through the crease and under the glove of Burbank. Now Baker down deep, can't hold the puck. Centered by the Leafs. Here's Elliott trying to set it up. Flips it toward the net. It sails over. Now it's loose at the side. Borshevsky with it. Nikolai Borshevsky trying to get away from Baker. And Cronin with a nice move to clear it out. As the Sharks get out of some trouble there.
Good defensive play there by Ray Whitney, who stood his ground, and every Shark took a Maple Leaf player and just held them up until the puck was loose and they were able to get it out of their zone.
Peterson gloves it down ahead for Dahlin. He couldn't pick it up off the boards. Osborne over to Rouse. 6:45 left. Bill Berg, soft dump in. Osborne goes to the corner with Krupa. Krupa plays the man. Puck comes out to Dahlin. Dahlin skates with it, has some room on the right wing. Stops at center, throws it across for Ellick. In fact, it goes into the zone now on a delay offside call. Leafs clear it out right to the Sharks. Would have been better off had they been able to keep some possession there. The Sharks had some people caught deep. Now they change again, and the shift's getting shorter and shorter. 2-2 the score. Toronto must win. Hervé leaving it for Ozelin. Now up the boards. Garpenlov, who was the hero here in another tight game in Game 1. And he scored the goal with less than 3 minutes left to win it. Laid up the boards by the Sharks. This will go for icing as Sylvain Lefebvre gets back.
Well, this is when it's real tense. Fans are certainly on the edge of their seats. Guys reaching back for that little extra. They're in each other's faces now for 6 games and 10 days, and there's George handling it pretty good.
Oh, he closes that gate with authority, doesn't it?
You got it, but you got to see now some
back open.
Yeah,
one more guy to come off.
Yep.
Now he's going to close it again.
Okay, George. Make sure you lock it. You got to lock it too. Make sure that switch catches, because somebody goes crashing into that gate could open up. But
all I can say is good job.
Yep.
Toronto's fans seizing the moment here to let out a roar. Off the face-off, the shot blocked. Andrechuk and Hervé with a big stick save. Andrechuk again, Eastwood, and he missed the open side on the tip. Eastwood again, looks to the front. Andrechuk trying to get it backhand, back to Eastwood. Eastwood stick handling with Andrechuk. Good check by Cronin. Kept in by Toronto. Now Hervé plays it to the corner, off the stick of Andrechuk. Gill tied up by Erie, and it comes out. Now Whitney after it, with one Leaf back. It's a 2-on-1 with Erie, 3-on-1 with Baker. The pass, Erie shoots, and he missed the net. The Sharks had a 3-on-1.
Hurried the shot a little bit too much, got too much underneath it, and put it over top of the net.
Hervé around the net. Whitney trying to chop it out. Gilmore's up there. He's got the puck. Moore takes him to the boards. Wendell Clark tied up by Larionov. Ozelin plays it right back to this side, and Gilmore has it again. Down low. Gilmore back after it as Moore pushes it to the boards. Leafs pick it up. Clark looking for Gilmore, who lost his helmet. Larionov working against Clark. Igor advances it a little bit. Now Ozelin waits for traffic to clear. Gilmore's got it. Trying to wrap it around. Whitney can't get it out. McCowan shot. That one hit Berg. Here's Ozelin behind the net, trying to jam it past Gilmore. Ozelin gets a piece of it. Clark with it. Maple Leafs buzzing around the zone. But they're starting to get tired, too. And right there you saw it as Ozelin was able to get it by Clark.
Well, it's important to get the puck out of your zone. Also, when you're tired, not to take a penalty back there, especially with 3.5 minutes to go.
Here's Berg, dumps it in. Hervé's going to hold it right there. Both teams need a rest. 2-2. We'll be right back. The opportunity's passed. Erie just didn't get it on the net. There's a shot that almost went on the net by Gardner from the face-off circle. Back the other way comes Dahlin. He'll hold up in the neutral zone, feed Ellick. Ellick with speed on the left wing, shoots, hits the side of the net. Ellick on the centering try, that's blocked. Now Dahlin to the corner. He'll look out front. Nobody there, takes his time, knocked off his stick to Gardner. Here comes Toronto. Zezel with Gardner. Wide to the left is Osborne. Zezel backhand feed, broken up by Tom Peterson. 3:25 left as Peterson comes to center. Tom Peterson trying to get around Rouse. Played up the wing. Osborne had some trouble along the board. Sharks holding it in for the moment at least. Still frozen on the boards by Osborne, and the whistle from McCreary. And there's 3:11 left.
Short, hard, that's what the coaches will tell these guys. No back passes, no unnecessary chances, and always have one guy coming back and keep that puck ahead of you all the way, as Pat Burns realizing the importance of this one. 3:11 left. Could be the last 3:11 in the season for the Toronto Maple Leafs as the tension sets in. Captain Wendell Clark, a couple of goals for the Maple Leafs.
Pretty even period. Toronto out shooting the Sharks by a slim 6-5 margin. Gary, Odgers, and Baker out there again now for the Sharks with Moore and Cronin. 2-2 the score. That's the time in regulation. Now we're under 3 minutes. Moore holds it in. Leafs get it right back. Elliott comes out. Shot from way out. Irbe reads that carom very well, but these boards are so lively. They come off those boards, the pucks, like a ball comes off a bumper in an arcade game. They just fly off the board.
Look at that. That one almost hit the corner of the rink and came right out in front. You know, when those pucks come out like that, sometimes a goalkeeper doesn't know whether to go out there and chase those or have a defenseman come back and get it. And that particular player, Irbe just did the smart thing and fell on it.
I tell you, it just pinballed off that corner. All the face-offs important now. Baker against Eastwood. And in the circle, the Sharks have done a good job tonight. That one goes to the corner. Borshevsky looks up front. Nobody there. Cronin now clears it up for Baker. Baker and Odgers skating 2-on-2. Dumped in by Aaron. And Odgers in the corner. Left all alone. Gets the puck. Now Gill takes a hit. Elliott will throw it up for Andrechuk. And he'll get enough of the plate on it to work it out. This group is doing a good job, and that's giving the line that's coming on now some good rest. Garpenlov with it, with Makarov and Larionov. And this is a threesome that can change a game for you. 2 minutes left. Ozolin's trying to knock it down. Wendell Clark with it. Gets around Norton. Norton trying to pick him back up. And he does, and gets help on the defensive end from Ozolin. Pass for Makarov. Ozolin's trying to reach too far for that one. Gardner, a shot. Kick save by Irbe. Now Makarov. Blind pass along the line for Larionov. That's checked away by McCowan. And they quickly change up again here. Leafs with the puck. Gilmore almost got by Dahlin just as he came on. And now it's up in the crowd with 1:30 left in regulation.
And Mike Gardner really leveled one for the far corner on that one. And Artur Zerbe really had to come up with a big save. A Stanley Cup playoff souvenir to one of the lucky people here at the game tonight. Here's the shot on Mike Gardner. Look how he's able to get that shot away. That is going for almost the far corner there. And Irbe came out, knocked a little bit of the angle down on that, but really have some good reflexes to kick that one out by Mike Gardner.
That's the time left. Irbe set with the face-off up near center ice. Zezel wins the draw, sends it back to Todd Gill. If we go to overtime, we'll have a full intermission break here and come back with sudden death, unlike the regular season when there's just a brief stoppage followed by the OT. Here's Dahlin with it. Boy, he'd like to avoid overtime to Duchesne. His shot blocked by Potvin. Osborne with it. Up to center. Berg 1-on-2. Gets around Krupa, but then Krupa stayed with him and knocked the stick out of Berg's hand. A minute left. Elliott to center. That comes free to Zezel. He'll dump it in. Now Krupa has to hurry. Osborne's there. Blasty does the nice job. Peterson up high, and Bob Airy will get it out across center. Sharks quickly change up as Gilmore advances it up to Elliott. Broken up. Whitney poke checked away by Gilmore. Up the wing. Gilmore with a break with 30 seconds left. Baker got back, and the Leafs have to clear out. Rouse sends it in. Gets it right to that sweet spot on the boards. Pops right back to Moore, though. Now Gartner breaking across the line to Gilmore with some room. Shoots. Short side try goes wide. Rouse with 13 to go. Fires it toward the net. Here's Gilmore behind the net. Coming around. Chased by Cronin. Gilmore dumps it behind the net. Here's Clark. And Jason Moore will get it, play it up the boards. And we're going to sudden death overtime in Game 6. Against the Blackhawks. And we're set to go. Baker, Airy, and Whitney on the forward line to start the overtime for the Sharks, with Cronin and Moore back defensively. The next goal wins it, and either sends the Sharks to Vancouver or sends them back to their hotel for Game 7 here Saturday. Icing as Cronin gets back, and they'll send it back. Pete, you've got some glorious overtime experiences, some we hear about wherever we go.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been, I guess, quite a few of them. Got on the lucky end of scoring a few goals. One in Toronto, or one in New York that people remind me of every so often. That triple overtime, and
that was against the Blackhawks.
Yeah, against the.
In a series you actually eventually lost,
yeah,
right?
Well, don't remind me of that. Let's think of the, the good of that one. But
sorry. Yeah,
this is pressure. That's why these guys get paid these kind of big dollars to play in hockey games like that. And I think it's easier for the guys down there. They can release their frustration. The people watching it, that it's difficult.
This is a sudden death overtime that obviously ends on the next goal, but if no one scores, it'll go a full 20 minutes, unlike the regular season when the overtimes go just 5 minutes in duration. And in this playoff year, we've had some long overtime. Here's Ozelin. Checks Berg along the board. Zezel will get the puck out. Now Jeff Norton with it. Norton takes it across center. Looks for Whitney, but Whitney was looking to go off. And the Sharks lose possession. Here's Osborne. Throws it into the zone. Big rebound. Berg sends it behind the net. Gilmore can't get the carom that time. And Ozelin will bring it out for San Jose. Up for Garpenlov. Garpenlov checked by Gartner. Now it's McCowan. Makarov checks him. Back for Garpenlov. Shoots! And then hit the post! Johan Garpenlov hits the post in overtime.
Whistle that one.
Here's Garpenlov again with Makarov. Leads him with the pass. Trailing is Ozelin. Back to Makarov. He'll dump it in, and the Sharks change up. But the Leafs saw this team. The fans saw this team's season flash before their eyes there as Garpenlov unloaded from the high slot. Clark skates it out for Toronto. He has both of their goals, and he stick handles to center. He still has it. His shot blocked by Krupa. Now ridden into the corner by Blasty Krupa. Gilmore's there looking for it. Tied up, and it comes out. Now Todd Ellick will step to it. Ellick flips it up the boards for Duchesne. Sharks can't clear it out. Now Ellick, a nice job to knock it down. The Sharks come forward 4-on-2. Here's Ellick with Duchesne. Ellick back to Duchesne, and he fanned on it. Here's Cronin. Backhand. Shoots off the side. Gaetan Duchesne presented with a glorious chance. Fanned on the shot. Now the Leafs come back, and they dump it in. After it is Eastwood. He tries to center it, and Borshevsky in front couldn't get to it. Here's a chance for Eastwood. A pile-up at the side. Eastwood comes around. Irbe with a sweep check, and then he'll smother the puck at the side of the net. But the Sharks with two incredible chances inside the first 2.5 minutes.
They had the two good chances as Johan Garpenlov hit the crossbar half-inch to the right. Series is over, and Duchesne right in front missed it. Then Cronin had a shot. He got on the net, and then the Maple Leafs coming down and getting an opportunity there with Artur Zerbe using that stick on Eastwood. And there you're gonna see Makarov with the puck. He's gonna pass it over to, or Makarov over to Garpenlov. Look at that shot. He's got Potvin beat. There it is, flush right on the pipe and comes straight out. And here's Duchesne on this last play. Ellick's coming in. There's the pass right there to Duchesne. He's just trying to one time, and somebody may have just knocked him a little bit. Here's Cronin coming in. He directs the one towards the net. So in the first couple of minutes of overtime, Three good scoring opportunities for the Sharks.
Now the face-off down in the San Jose zone. And Zezel and Baker are going to get tossed. Well, Zezel comes back in. And Erie will step to the face-off circle for the Sharks. They win the draw. Back to Ellett. He winds up. This one deflects way up into the second deck. And we'll look for the face-off indication. It's going to stay inside the Shark zone, but come out to the top of the circle.
That was a good play by Jeff Odgers. When you lose the draw and you're the center iceman, you stay with the center iceman in your zone. It's coaching staff looking on by the Sharks. And if you're the winger on that board, you got to fight your way to get out to that point. Odgers did. He was being held up by the winger. He was able to get out and get a piece of that one and deflect it over the glass.
Now here's Ellett over to Gill. One-timer blocked by Cronin. And the defense is blocking a lot of shots. Gill's shot blocked by Erie. And what a bunch of punishment this group is taking, but they are paying the price and helping Herbe out, negating this Toronto shot total.
That's what Bob Erie is, a good defensive player, and that's you're throwing your body. These guys can shoot that puck 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and you're flying and blocking those kind of shots and sacrificing your bodies for the team. Do everything here to prevent that shot from going through, and Bob Erie just throwing himself there and getting a stoppage in play.
Now Zezel and Baker face off again as it stays in the Shark zone for a third face off in a row.
Erie and Baumgartner are doing a little jousting there.
Sharks win the draw. Here's Jason Moore across the line with Odgers. Moore dumps it in, and Odgers clears it out. Back down again. The Leafs send it deep. A race for it. Norton touching it first. And he eluded a check from Berg. This will send it all the way down into the Leaf zone on the icing call. Well, Sharks assistant coach Wayne Thomas, a former goalie, says every time of Herbe a puck goes in, people are going to question it. But the guy's a horse. He has great flexibility, great legs.
A nice compliment coming from Wayne Thomas, who should know, being a former National Hockey League goalkeeper. Well, there's no margin for error when you're back there. You know, you're a front guy, you miss a check or something, it sometimes doesn't matter. But when you're a goalkeeper, miss it, it goes in.
Leafs win the face-off. Lefebvre with it, and he's going to send it out of play. It just landed behind the Sharks bench, and we've played 3 minutes and 12 seconds of the overtime. There's the man who tied it with his first of the playoffs at 7:38. And as we've looked at that goal 3 or 4 times now, Pete, that was a nice effort by Norton, because it was a bouncing puck that he just sort of chopped at with the blade parallel to the ice and just got under it. Here's a shot from the point. That's blocked. Clark looking for the rebound. Ozolinsh gets it back. Here's Ozolinsh on the backhand, trying to center for Larionov. Now Larionov with it. It's bouncing. Potvin got it, and it was just cleared off to the side. Sharks hold it in. Played behind the net. Lefebvre will get to it for Toronto. He'll send it back out the other side. It rides the lip of the boards all the way down. Icing waved off.
Anybody could have got that one.
Here's Lefebvre at center. He breaks it up. Chance for Clark at the side. Drives it into Ozolinsh. Now trying to get away. Does behind the net. Gilmore tied up by Makarov. Dumps to Clark in the corner. Now it's Lefebvre. Along the board. Stolen by Makarov to Garpenlov. Ahead for Ozolinsh to Larionov. They're 3-on-2. Here's Igor Larionov. Winds up. Ozolinsh back to Larionov. He gave up a clear shot on goal as the Sharks take another drive. It's wide, and it's cleared in the seats. And what is Sandis Ozolinsh thinking there?
Unbelievable.
He gives up the clear shot on goal and passes it into the corner.
Well, they do that so often, but you know, you can almost see the whites of the eyeballs of the goalkeeper when you're there about 8-9 feet out in front. Here's the breakout by the Sharks. Ozolinsh going to throw over to Larionov. Now you're going to see Sandis getting the puck. Now here he's going to get the puck right there. Now look at right there. Just all he has to do is take one more stride, let that shot go, and a good chance of it going in. And By the time he knows it, he's talking to himself over there. He give it to Larionov, who was way out of position when that puck finally did come to him.
Faceoff stays in the Toronto zone. Ellick to take the draws, and new lines out there. They win it. Krupa over to the other point. Peterson directs it toward the net and hit his stick. Ellick lands on top of Potvin in the crease, but gets out of there before he's called for a penalty. Dahlin now around the net, trying to sweep it home, and it comes to Andrechuk. The Leafs are breaking out 2-on-2. Eastwood trying to make it a 3-on-2. Andrechuk drives it in. Borshevsky on this side trying to get it back into the corner. Sharks on top of the puck. Ellick sends it back up the middle. Here's Peterson with good speed. Sharks 3-on-2 again. But they go offside as Peterson changed direction at the line, and Duchesne went in early down the left wing.
Tom Peterson doesn't mind jumping into that play. He'll go with it if he sees some open ice, and he actually had Duchesne on the left side. That's where you got to give it. And that's where you got to give it to the guy who's going wide. There's the play in the corner inside the Sharks zone, and the Sharks with Todd Ellick getting the puck. Now he just fires it over to Tom Peterson, who led that rush up the play, but he just hesitated at the blue line for a second, and that caused the offside.
No question, the Sharks are dominating the overtime period with the abundance of chances. They've had 4 that come to mind right now. Ozelinch, the post, and a couple of others. Moore fires it around. Todd Gill with it behind his net for Toronto. Puck comes to the point. Zezel will advance it across center. We're 5 minutes into sudden death here in game 6. 2-2 the score. Baker had some trouble, got it out. Now Andrechuk drives it off Cronin. Herbe settles this, plays it off the glass, comes down for Berg. Loose puck in front. Andrechuk looking for it. Here's Berg. Poked off the stick by Cronin. Loose in front. Cronin trying to reach around Doug, and the Sharks get it out.
Good defensive play by Bob Airey. He does that so well.
Behind the play, Cronin and Andrechuk were all tied up. Or Moore rather, and Moore lost his helmet in the exchange, and we had a whistle.
You just notice, you know, these little things that don't show up in the summaries. Moore was staying with Andrechuk the whole time. That was the cause for the whistle, the offside. But those pucks coming along the boards to the winger, you're gonna you got to take a hit sometime to get that puck out. There's Andrechuk and Moore. They're tangled up, and they stay like that for about 10-15 seconds. There are all kinds of things going on up the ice, but those two guys are just grabbing onto each other, and finally we get a stoppage in play.
I'll tell you, to get a penalty, a minor penalty here in overtime, it's got to come, I would think, number one, on a scoring chance for one of the teams, or something so blatant that just can't be ignored. But other than that, they're going to let him go here.
Or a double minor. They call a lot of those.
Sure. One-man advantage? I don't think so. It's going to be some kind of call. Sharks get it out across center. McCowan sends it back up the wing. Gilmore to Clark. Swept away. Now Makarov trying to get it up for Garpenlov. Garpenlov across center, waiting for help, sends it in. LeFay pushes it up for McCowan. Now to Clark. Clark checked by Garpenlov. And the Leafs go offside as Gilmore had trouble containing it at the blue line.
Gilmore is going in, and Clark is trying to work on that 2-on-1 on one particular defenseman, and just stop. But Gilmore was really busting down that left side, and he just got a step ahead of Wendell Clark. Clark has the puck. See, there's the puck coming in after Doug Gilmore had entered the blue line. That coming in, that puck later, that is the offside.
He got both assists in Game 5 in San Jose, and leads the playoff scoring in points with 22. He assisted on Clark's first goal back in the first period that made it 1-0. 13:52 left in overtime number 1. Here's Vlasky Krupa. Sharks exit their zone up to Duchesne now. Here's Peterson. Peterson to Dahlin. Dahlin winds up. That goes off his stick. Peterson had it on his skate. Kick to the side. Toronto will pick it up as Elliott works it ahead for Borshevsky. Nick Borshevsky driving it to the corner. Herbe for Peterson. Backhanded up for Dahlin. Dahlin just waits for Gilmore to pass. Now Krupa. That one hit Gilmore at center. Now Peterson sent back into his own zone for the Sharks. Both teams in a line change. Dahlin picks it up off the boards. Then he's hooked. Sharks still with it. Duchesne getting it into the zone. Sharks trying to complete their change, and now they do. Here's Rouse across the line to center for the Leafs. He'll drive it deep. Urbe knocking it down behind the net. They'll play it off the glass. Drops down near Berg. A weak shot deflecting off Eastwood to the net. Now Makarov has it hit his skate. Leafs hold it in. Here's a chance for Baumgartner. Nice pass through. Eastwood with a drive. That's blocked by Moore as it comes down. Now here's Norton. Norton ahead to Makarov. Gets around Eastwood. Norton still with it. Or Makarov with it to Norton. Norton in front. And peeling away was Ozolinsh. Back defensively as Osborne carries for Toronto. Osborne across the ice for Eastwood. That line's been on a while, and now they go off. Here's Ozolinsh for Norton. Plays it into his skates. He'll start again.
Matt Burns doubling up on Doug Gilmore. Every second shift he's out.
Ozolinsh threw it up the middle, almost right to Andrechuk. And that is a gamble pass. And Ozolinsh comes off again. Just don't gamble in overtime, not in your own zone. Andrechuk bumped at the blue line. Moore drives it back in. That's the time remaining in the first overtime. We'll keep playing until somebody wins. There's no stopping this game until it's 3-2. Here's a chance for Gilmore. He peels away from Cronin. Now looks to his left. Has Andrechuk. Andrechuk shot just high. Rebound around. Jeff Odgers couldn't get to it. Here's Mironov. His shot hits Odgers' stick. Airy checked to the boards by Gartner. Puck comes free. Bob Rouse with it. His shot hit the side of the net. Here's Gilmore to Gartner. They score!